How's everybody doing today? Looking good, looking awesome, ready to roll right here with Core Sound of Flute Pro Series. Welcome, friends at home. Now, your sound is the number one important thing about your playing. You need to always breathe and exhale correctly, and that's one of the things we're going to focus on today. For your best sound, you always need to have great body posture. So we're periodically going to do little posture checkups, but right now we want to make sure you're sitting up nice and tall, that the spine is erect, and you're ready to really push a firm pillar of air into your instrument. We want you to always be critical of your breathing, your tone quality, and your intonation throughout the lesson. Always be aware of how those three things are impacting each other as we move forward. We're going to go ahead and get started with the little warm-up, right? We got exercise A. We start on a dissonance that resolves on beat 2. But we want you to maintain a focused sound for every note, so drive the air forward. Now, drop your jaw and think, ah. This is going to help you blow toward the second note. So you want to move that air forward all the time, right? Start each measure with the same intensity as the previous one. Really important right now, remember, always breathe with us on 4. Tank up, always fill, and have plenty of air for the phrase. Remember, your eyes are moving down the page, not your head moving down the page, because we'll drop pitch, we'll adjust pitch as we move and do that. So make sure your eyes are reading, but your posture stays great, and your position on the instrument is perfect. Cool, here we go on exercise A. On A, lovely sound, here we are, and 1, 2, lots of air. Gorgeous flute ensemble sound, man. Hope your TV volume is up loud enough. Should be as loud as you're playing or even a little bit louder, right? Because we want you to fit your sound into this gorgeous flute ensemble back here. Matching pitch all the time, listening so carefully and emulating the quality of the sound. Cool. We're on to exercise B. Check it out. We want you to keep the embouchure very relaxed. Support your sound from your core. Core sound, right? In the descending chromatics that you see there, we want you to support and blow towards the end of the measure, right? Blow across the bar line. It's going to help support your phrases as well. We want you to watch pitch on the F sharp. Check that out. See it there? That note tends to be real sharp on our flute, okay? So we want you to consider using an alternate middle fingering. Fausto over here is going to drop that down for you so you can see. Can we get a shot of this, please, guys? Can we see that alternate F sharp fingering? See that there? He's got that thrown down for you. Now, what's important about that? That you get the alternate fingering? Sure, and it's definitely going to help the pitch, but what you want to do the whole time is always be listening, even when you're playing the alternate fingering, to make sure the pitch is right. So you're bringing it down into the center of the pitch. Okay, think about those things. Again, breathe with us on 4. Are you tanking up? Are you filling up completely? We want your shoulders nice, down and back, open rib cage, so that when you go, it's that openness, right? You're filling up so that you're not, and it's all verklempt. We don't like that. Here's exercise B. Ready? And 1, 2, right on it. God, you just love the flute ensemble, man. Continuing on, we got exercise C. keep the jaw dropped for these octave leaps, and you gotta hear them in your head, man. You have to listen very carefully and identify that solid octave interval in your head before you play. That way it will come out on the flute. Don't ever keep your teeth close together. Bad news. Don't do that. Listen carefully to tune the octaves all the time. The quality of your intonation is usually directly tied with your sound quality. And reverse, right? They interact all the time. Be aware. The high B flat tends to be flat. It has the opposite tendency as the other notes. Anyway, think about that. It tends to be flat, so you want to kind of direct that airstream up, right, to bring that into the center of the pitch. Great breath on 4. As always, make sure your head is not doing this. Keep your chin up. Here we go on C. And 1, 2, ready. Very nice, lovely sound. He's doing so good back here, throwing down those octave leaps, listening so carefully, making them exactly in tune across the octave. Hey, if you're having trouble with those octave jumps and you just can't bring them into tune with each other, or you're having difficulty moving across the registers of the instrument, you got the back button. Woodshed it, man. Work on it as much as you want. We'll be right here, and you can visit ProSeriesNow.com, where there's plenty of people that have questions just like you, and also solutions for those questions. So visit there, you'll have tons of fun. Okay, now we're gonna tune. Speaking of pitch and stuff. But before we tune, I gotta tell you who we have on stage today, because we got some cool people. They are so awesome. All the way on your right, that means over here. We got, that's my gal. On Flute 4, how are you doing?
Good.
Looking great, as always. We got Tara Melvin, buddy of mine from the University of Central Florida, where she is a performance and education major, as I recall. So she's gonna play, she's gonna teach, and I think you said you wanted to do middle school long term, yeah? She's gonna change lives across this great nation of ours. Well, mostly just here in Florida. Or are you gonna leave, maybe?
I wanna stay.
You're gonna stay. She's gonna be Florida. Florida, yeah. Anyway, glad to have you. Thanks so much. She sounds wonderful. Listen carefully. Good Flute 4 part. All right, on Flute 3, how are you? Good. We got Felicia Skinner. She is a flute performance major at UCF, but also a forensics major. Da, da, da. What are you gonna do with that?
Ballistics.
Ballistics, like missiles and stuff, like intercontinental things, and no, that doesn't go with that. No. Anyway, she's fantastic. We love her. She's here throwing down Flute 3. Listen carefully. She's doing a great job. Thanks for coming. Yeah. Next, we got Flute 2. We got Wei Wang, flautist extraordinaire. Comes to us from the Emory University, where you are a flute performance major, right? And in chemistry. They're all smarter than me here. What can I say? It is what it is. And so, because you got the chemistry, you got the forensics, you guys are going to work together, solve murders. Oh, it's Core Sound. We're talking about murder. It's cool. You know, that's cool. How are you doing?
Good.
Doing well. We're very happy to have you here today. Thanks for coming. She's throwing down Flute 2, and it's magical. So listen real carefully. And then the man, the myth, the legend, Fausto Miro. I want to call you Dr. Fausto, man. Mephistopheles, Dr. Fausto. Anyway, playing the Flute 1, that's your part. Are you listening to him all day, every day? I hope you are, because he sounds great. Doing superb job. He is at the University of South Florida, right?
Yes, sir.
Flute performance major and vocal performance major. I'd ask you to sing, but we don't have time. So, thanks very much for showing up. We appreciate it. Have a good one. All right, we're on to tuning. We have a very interesting and special way of tuning here for you, since we have the DVD format, right? We're gonna do this twice. So the first time it's gonna be us, and you're gonna sit still with your flute in your lap, and you are gonna listen so carefully to the pitch that they are producing, because we're gonna develop that sonic vocabulary for you so that you can have a really great concept of sound and pitch. You're gonna listen to them find the center of the pitch, right? We're gonna cut that off. Second time on the same note that you see, you're gonna play with us. Make sure that TV volume's up high enough, match pitch and sound and fit in, okay? And around each note, I'll kind of give you some tendencies that you can think about in terms of how that note typically comes out on the flute, sharp, flat, whatever. All right, so we're gonna get started with That low C that you see there tends to be low. We're in the low register of the instrument, so we want to direct that air upward, right? It's going to pull it into the center of the pitch, which is where we want it. Our turn first, and let's roll. Ready, guys? On C. It's gorgeous, man. That dark, rich, chocolatey flute, mysterious down in the low register. If you like low flute, incantation and dance, John Barnes chants. Yeah, it's cool. All right, your turn. Hope you got it in your ear. Listen carefully. They're listening so carefully, matching pitch across the ensemble, fitting their sounds into each other. Are you doing that too? I hope so. Okay, we're rolling on to the C above that. It's a little sharp, typically, this one, right? Kind of unstable. So we want to make sure that we don't overblow the note. That's key for this one. Allow the pitch into the center. Okay, us first. Listen carefully. Develop that sonic vocabulario. Here we go. They're working so hard over here. You notice they're not doing this. Rolling in and out all the time just looks foolish, right? You have to use the vowels and the direction of your airstream. Don't constantly be rolling all up and down all over the flute. No good, man. You're not going to be able to do that in rapid technique anyway. You have to make sure you're using the vowel shape and your airstream to create really great pitch. Okay, we're moving on. Your turn on the second time for C. Here we go. So nice. Hope you got that one. Okay, we're on to G. This is above that C, right? See it there? Stable note here. This one's pretty cool. We like it. Typically in tune. We want you to use an A vowel sound, an A shape inside the oral cavity. Okay, here we go on G. Our turn, by the way. Got that in your ear? Thinking carefully, listening hard. Match pitch all the time. They're working hard over here. Second time, your turn. Cool, guys. They're holding it down. Are you listening real carefully? Hope you are. We're rolling up to the C above that. Tuning on a lot of C's today. This one's funky. We fight this one a lot. Tends to be sharp. Now, the brighter your sound is, the higher that pitch is going to sound. So we have to make it as dark as possible, even in the upper register of the instrument, right? So think about that. Match these guys. They're going to work hard to play it really great for you. Okay, listen carefully. Our turn. Very nice, guys. Listen carefully. Got that ear on, man. That ear's on. Your turn. Very nice. A troubling pitch, but you can make it happen. Always be listening carefully to that. We're moving on. Now we got E above that. Oh, joy. Oh, rapture. Now this thing is sharp, so we want to make sure that you are lifting the pinky key to bring that pitch down. Really important. Okay, here we go. Us. They're my heroes. They play that darn in tune, oh my God. So, your turn now. Remember, pinky keys up, bring that pitch right into the center, listen carefully, match it over here. Okay, here we go. You guys are my heroes. They're my heroes. They can play E in tune. I'd never be able to do that. My goodness. Hope you're managing. Remember, the darker you can play in that upper register, the more you'll help yourself play in tune. Okay, we're on to G, above that E. It's sharp, right? We know this one's sharp. It's typically very bright, too. So what can we do to help that? The darker you can play, the more you can use that vowel shape. Hey, vowels, right? Flute Toolkit. Hang over there. You'll get tons of information on how to use the vowel shape, the oral cavity, to produce really great tone across the entire register of the instrument and really great pitch. That's why we talk about those vowels there. Okay, what can you do? Open the oral cavity here. Use ah in this case. Support from the stomach. Always control and direct that airstream. You can play G's in tune. Long story short, you can play G's in tune. Our turn. Here we go. Sounds like this many flutes, man. Great intonation on a G is possible with a really great gentle sound that's not so bright, can be dark even on a high pitch. Your turn. Shoot for that, okay? Emulate these guys. They're doing a great job. Here we go. There's your G. Hope your G's nice and in tune. And we're going to roll on because you're tired of tuning. But you're playing so well in tune now. So we got enhancing intonation. So we've been playing in tune. Now we're going to enhance our vigilance about our intonation, right? Exercise A is what we're on of section 2. Check it out. We want you to have a centered pitch on that first B flat. See it there? And maintain that for each following note, okay? Stay critical of your breaths. Be aware all the time of your sound quality and how the intake of breath supports your sound quality. Always be vigilant. Okay, use correct fingering on that middle D. See that? Lift the first finger up, okay? By the way, you're sitting correctly? You nice and tall, supporting the flute correctly at all the right balance points on your hand. Should be no tension. Push the right arm out more so that the flute is in the center of your body. Look at these guys. Can we see that real quick? A nice flute position. Lift it up into position. See that? The right arm is out more so the flute is in the center of their body. Relaxed elbows. There's no tension in these guys at all. Check on that for you. Ready, guys? We're on to A. Here we go. And 1, 2, great sound. Flute ensemble sound, filling up the horn with sound, checking pitch all the time. We're enhancing intonation. That's this section, right? Think about it all the time in terms of your relationship to the drone that's rolling underneath. This next one is also a drone exercise, so you're listening to your relationship to that tonic pitch that goes throughout the entire thing. Listen as your part moves against that root, okay? Use a correct fingering on that middle D. Lift the first finger up, right? Have steady air through the eighth notes in measure 7, so check those out now. Fausto's going to show us those. He's going to really push the air through those eighth notes and create the phrase with them, okay? Can you get a little bit of that, sir? Can you see how us through from the end there? Mm-hmm. So cool. What's he doing? Using the air forward through the eighth note so that they don't sound disjunct. They're smooth, they're connected, they're part of the phrase. And not only that, they lead into that long note that follows. Really, really important. But how is he doing that? With the direction of the air, with the forward usage of the air. Okay, on to B. Let's go. They're ready. They're set. They got their ear prepared. Here we are. And breathe. 1, 2. Think about pitch. The flute in ensemble is just so expressive. Harmonic minor scale in that one, right? Flatted 6th, raised 7th, very expressive. So we're working on pitch, but what do you hear these guys doing? Making music the whole time. And friends, that's the whole reason we do all of this, that you can be a really, really great musician, right? We're on to exercise C. Check it out. We start on a dissonance. You've handled that before, no worries. Don't get thrown off. Still have a great sound. In fact, your dissonance will sound better if you what? Blow into it. Direct the air forward into that sound. Emphasize it, in other words. We want you to listen carefully to those D octave leaps in the last 2 measures. Find those. Take a great breath, and we want you to really hear in your head the E flat. Place that, okay? Here's exercise C. We got it, kids. On C, play nicely in tune. Think about pitch as you rise. 2 and ready. Octave leaps, man, right in tune. Bang! Super important. He locks it right in, hears the pitch before he does it, directs the air down. Really cool. We're on to exercise A of section 3, new section talking about shaping the beginning of the note. That means creating really great entrances with really great tones. So we've been thinking about the center, the core of your sound, right? We've been talking about the pitch of the center of your notes, of your sound. And now we're talking about how to really execute a great beginning to the tone. So we're ramping up the sophistication of hair here. Physically and mentally, we want you to focus on starting each and every note with the great centered sound. So your brain is honed in on starting the sound, the beginning of the sound, okay? Don't get tripped up by the accidentals. Look ahead right now, check it all out. Keep on taking great breaths. Focus on all of your fundamentals, right? You're thinking about technique, you're thinking about your strong individual pulse, you're thinking about core sound, pitch, can you count carefully, rhythm. Here's exercise A. Hey, remember, see those little phrase fragments there, the one measure phrase fragments? We want you to shape each one of those. How are you going to do that? You're going to direct the air, you're going to use a da tongue. So we want you to have a really nice light da tongue shaping each one of those little phrase fragments, and they all lead into each other. Cool, here we go. And 1, 2, and... So nice, guys. Hey, what else are they doing there? Do you notice in Fausto's line, which is your line, right? He's playing those little fragments, right? You hear those, but he's playing them as if the response on beat 1, because these guys got whole notes, he's playing them as if when he lifts off that 4, the entrance of 2, 3, and 4 happens. So it's like he's leading with his little phrase fragment into the entrance of 2, 3, and 4. That's a really sophisticated skill to know how your phrase interweaves with what's going on in the texture if you're in an ensemble. Just want you to think about that. Okay, we're on to exercise B. You're playing an arpeggiated F scale here, but we want great intonation, yo, on each quality of every sound that you got going for each note, okay? The lines above the notes mean tenuto. You may have seen those before. Play each note for 1 full beat into the rest. Tenuto. Full value of the note. Cool? Don't clip these notes with your tongue or the air. Think about that. No clipping. Make sure they get full value. Always in the notes with this beautiful resonant sound, which means you're allowing the air to exit into the silence. Very important. Here is exercise B. And 1, 2, full value sound. Very lovely, guys. Great pitch too. You notice the fronts of the notes, they're listening so carefully to a really light and gentle articulation that produces great sound and tone and pitch instantly. That's what we're focusing on this little section, right? Shaping the beginning of the note. Think about those things. We're on to exercise C. Check out the crescendo in measure 3. Do you see it? Open the throat to help your sound open up as you do that. So we got a little gradual crescendo there. We want you to open the throat, allow the air forward, help that gradual crescendo. Focus on exaggerating your dynamics. So yeah, we're focusing on core sound, but we want you to also see how your sound can be impacted by dynamics. In fact, it shouldn't be, right? So we want to make sure that you're controlling volume changes while retaining that same core sound. We got a mezzo piano all the way to a forte. See that? Oh yeah, don't slap the keys, man. Make sure that you're not going keep your fingers nice and curved and ready in the right position to have that really great press. You're not far away from the keys. Don't let your fingers get way out here so that you have to bang them back. Great finger position over the keys. One more thing about posture. You're not doing this, turtlenecks, to the flute. Sit up nice and tall. You are the master of your instrument. Bring the flute to you. Do not go to the horn. The horn comes to you. We're on to C. Here we go. 1, 2, soft. Great line, great dynamic shifts. Are you listening to how the beginnings of every single note are right on task, man? Great sound from the get-go, from the very light, gentle articulation, and through the dynamic changes, the sound, the core of the sound does not change. You don't get brighter. Nothing's happening to the pitch. They're controlling all of that with their air, the vowel shape. Really, really important, right, to have great core sound as you move through gradual dynamic changes. We're on to exercise D. Check it out. We got dolce. And not talking about handbags, not talking about the sunglasses or the ice cream. Although the ice cream is very calling to me right now. Anyway, so dolce, gently, sweetly is typically the style we want. Very gently, very sweetly. It's the kind of atmosphere or mood that we want to present with this particular music. Use the tip of the tongue on the bump. That's a technical term, people. Behind your teeth. That bump behind your teeth, that's where we want to get that articulative point. That's going to connect the notes. Maintain that connected and light articulation throughout all of these notes, throughout the whole thing. Push air through them. Really, really evoke that dolce style, that sweet style. Always think about blowing over the bar lines. What are you doing when you do that? You're pretending the bar lines aren't there almost. You're directing the phrase to where it goes, which is a very, very important skill. This will enhance your musicality. We love that. You love that. Here's D. Ready, guys? 1, 2, and you are set. Gorgeous line. I could listen to flute all day, man. I could listen to flute ensemble all day too. Sounds so good, so lovely. Are you trying to produce that kind of sound, that kind of rich, gorgeous flute beautifulness like little pearls? We love it. All right, talking about section 4 now. Look ahead. Increasing your end of note resonance. So we talked about the center of the note, talked about the front of the note. What's left? The end. You mean I have to think about 3 parts to my note? It's not just ta and get some sound? Right, we're increasing your sophistication these days, man. Exercise A. Check it out. A is a great tuning note here. Be confident with your sound and intonation. So we're still tackling that fundamental sound, right? Thinking about that all the time and thinking about intonation. Don't pull the tongue really far back. It's going to slow your articulation down. You have to have it nearby and ready, and make sure that it's really responsive for all of that articulation, okay? Focus on having a really open sound. Never sacrifice the quality of sound for the length of the note, and that's what we're talking about, the end of note resonance. So we may have a little bit lighter in terms of length, but what we want is the end to be a vowel sound instead of a consonant sound so that we don't get clipped. The more that the vowel sound is present at the end of your flute tone, then you will have a really resonant ending to all of your notes, which sounds great, which is what we love to hear. Here's exercise A. Check it out. Oh, hey, faster tempo. Keep up with us, man. You got this. Woo. Here we go. And 1, 2, ready. Fun little tune. Man, you can make some music in 8 measures, I'm telling you what. And they are doing so well. Notice the lightness and the consistency of their staccato, that staccato light articulation. They are doing so well with that. It's not clipped. It's not tick, 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 tick. It's tick, 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 right? Super nice and light, very musical. Really, really think about those things. And the crescendo was great. Oh yes, kept a great sound quality through the crescendo. Did you? All right, we're on to exercise B. Keep the jaw dropped in the high register. Really important. So you're working on right now so you can get better at it, keeping that jaw dropped so that we get really dark, great pitch up there in that high register. Have all the fingers down for the high E flat. All of those. Get it covered, man. It's going to help it bring it into pitch. Raise the airstream for the subito piano that you see. Raise the airstream for the subito piano, right? And of course, be musical all the time. Oh yeah, there's this G in the last measure. See that? A quick tip. It's going to help you end that note with resonance is to take a little small breath as you end the note. Magic. Try that. A little small breath at the end. Here's B. 1, 2, B. Cool, man. Making some good music there all the way through that. Consistent in their lightness of their staccato articulation, and they used a little accent on the end on that last note. Used some air, used some weight on that accent, and then they all took a little catch breath to help the resonance. We love it. You do that too. Feel free to press back if you want to toss that around a few times and see how you do. Here's exercise C, still talking about the end of note resonance. You're thinking about the ends of your notes and how they sound. We want you to think about focused, beautiful, gorgeous sound on that first B. Be confident with your entrances, so we're thinking also about the fronts, right? We talked about that. We also want you to check that high E in measure 10. You see that there? We want you to use the alternate fingering by raising your pinky, okay? Get it up. Now, Fausto's going to show us that. You throw that down for us, guy. Yeah, man. Look at that. And great finger position the whole time. We love that. You should be focusing on that as well. Okay, but what do you do once you use the alternate fingering? You're listening as well. You're making sure that the pitch is in fact in tune by using the alternate fingering. Very helpful. All right, and we're in 3/4. Haven't done it yet. Here we go. 1, 2. Very lovely. Dude, that's just such a beautiful line. You pounded for me. Because he's so good making music. Are you making music? Are you trying to shape it like that? Yeah, we're thinking about the ends of the notes. We're thinking about the beginning of the notes. We're thinking about the sound. That's what we want you to focus on. But through all of that, why do we do it? It's so that you can be a great musician like this over here, shaping lines, expressing yourself. That's why we play music, right? We got section 5, comprehensive review. This is the last one. We got exercise A. It's faster. So you got to show how much shaping you can do inside of a fast tempo. Oh joy, rapture, way, woo. Always play with the confidence and direct your air forward through everything you do musically, like we just said. So there's a mordent in measure 8, a little doodle. You see that there? Goes to an F sharp. That's where we want you to go with that. Fausto's going to show us that little spot there for you. It's going to have great resonance. It's going to have great shape. Think about the position that he's using it in. Here we go. It's on the beat, by the way. On the beat. Here we go. Cool. Super cool, man. Isn't he great? That's what you're going to do. Feel free to press pause if you want to roll that out a few times before you hang with us real quick. We'll be right here. But right now we're going to roll on. Here's exercise A of 5. fun. Good job, guys. Making music in a short amount of time. Great staccatos, great mordents. Shaping every little phrase, every tiny phrase fragment, all has shape. They're using the direction of the pitches, rising and falling, to direct how they are presenting the air forward and shaping the line. Really important. We're on to exercise B. This was in cut time, where I'm conducting it in cut time, but you see it there in 4 in your book. Check that out. Think of the overall direction of the line. Why are we doing that, by the way? Because it's a fast 4. So fast 4, sometimes we give the 1 and the 3 instead of every single pulse, okay? Think of the overall direction of the line here. Let your air shape the dynamics and phrasing. Really, really important. Keep on breathing correctly. Still be critical of your sound, your intonation, your releases. You're constantly aware of all those things, right? And everything else from this lesson, we're pulling it together. This is the review, right? Here's B. All right, here we go. Cut time in B. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready. Lovely, guys. Great line out of this guy over here in that middle to low register of the flute. Super liquid, super gorgeous. Use your air always to create a line. All right, we got exercise C. Check it out. This one's a little longer. It's got a modulation in 14. We want you to check that out. Focus on the effect and the quality of the forte piano. Don't get any distortion when you get to that forte piano. Make sure you direct the air. Don't affect your quality of sound or of the intonation. So you're going to listen really carefully. Fausto's going to show us. Get that for real, for rizzles, for PBs, for pinks. Wow. Very nice. Notice no distortion at all, right? Inside that change back to the loud, back to the forte. So he's got weight on the front with that forte, goes far away, but he retains the sound quality. Then returns to a louder volume through the crescendo, keeps the sound quality the whole time, and the pitch. Really important skill in a forte piano. Now we want you to be critical of all your entrances here. It's very easy to enter on the high side of the pitch. So we want you to feel each note, hear it before you play it. Make sure you're in the center of the pitch. Here's exercise C. One, two, ready. Lovely, beautiful lines, super music in there. What are they worried about while they're taking on that particular exercise? They're making sure all their staccatos are nice and resonant. Great light sound towards the end, right? They're also making sure the tenutos are full value. They're checking their articulations to make sure that they're not slipping some notes underneath slurs that don't belong under slurs. So they're re-articulating where they need to. They're checking all those things out, but above all, they are thinking about their core sound and how they sound while they produce all those different kinds of articulations. They're also thinking about how the quality of their sound can stay the same while they're using gradual dynamics. Very, very important. This is the review, right? Putting everything together, the places you need to think about your sound. All right, we're moving on to exercise D, last one. We're here. Hope you're having a good time. Hope you're making progress. We want you to check out the accidentals. They carry through the measure. Watch that. We got espresso. What the heck is that? It's not espresso, people. No coffee breaks yet. We're about to be done, though, right? So keep moving through that. Espresso, not espresso. Espressivo, which means play with a whole bunch of expression, right? And we got leggero, which means lightly, very delicate, in a swift manner. Light and swift, right? We want you to show the different style markings that you see throughout this one, like you did in the last one, especially in the last two measures. Check those out. So go for the gold, because this is the one, man. Core sound will be finished. Here we are on D. 1, 2. So cool, so fun, and hard. Hope you did well with that. That was the last one, and you're done. That, as they say, is that. For core sound, I hope you learned so much. We want you to apply everything we covered to your daily playing habits, and even all of the times that you're playing in an ensemble. Always listen to great flutists, man. Nothing teaches you except like listening and hearing how wonderful flutists are. And even great singers and vocalists, because they can really teach you how to shape a line. We always want to be as musically flexible as the human voice. That's where instruments came from, right? Trying to emulate the human voice with different sound. Always be critical of your sound. In other words, be aware of what's going on and how to fix it. Like I said, for you to ever play your best, you always have to apply great breathing habits. So make sure you're thinking about how much air you are providing yourself with to support your sound and create great phrases. And we're done. We'll see you very soon for Flute Pro Series. Thanks for hanging with us. Do the right arm. Bye now. Woo!